felt deprived of it last night.
Hi, everyone.
Hi.
We had it was my fault, but we had a bit of technical difficulties, so we are here now live. Welcome to costumeco, the latest live stream. It's a spooky live stream, like woo, spooky. Anyway, so welcome to the show. Tonight we're going to be talking about the House of Usher. These folks here, they're a really nice bunch of people. And with me, I have two guests here right now. I have a third coming shortly. So first of all, we have Tanya from 1,000 Eyes in One podcast, occasionally with the baby. We also have AK is here. Alicia is.
Hello.
Yeah. So to start off, Tanya, you want to tell everybody about yourself and how, what you've been up to and all that? Oh, I can't hear you.
Nope. Still nothing.
That's weird. She was just.
YouTube don't want us to be great.
Right,
like your sound was just perfect.
Alicia, why don't we start with you then while Tanya. Oh, Tanya, you're muted. I think that's what it is.
Yeah, we see your mute button on now.
Yeah, let me unmute her. Nope, won't let me do it. Oh.
And it's off now. We should be able to hear you.
Yeah, I can't hear her. I don't know what's going on. It's like, I don't know. It's kind of like Nevermore in this live stream. Oh my God.
Wait, what is that character's name? What is it? Verna?
Verna?
Is that her name? She's in the shadows.
Yes, she is. She's jinxing us or something.
I mean, like, I don't know why though, ma'am. I don't appreciate the disrespect. Like, we didn't do anything. We were here to talk about this awesome show and this journey that you've been on. I mean, I like watching messy people when I don't have to do anything to do with the situation.
Tanya, do you want to hop off and come back in? Maybe that'll help.
Yeah, reset your settings.
Yeah, because that's what I had to do. I had to leave and come back in. So, Alicia, while you're here, why don't you just tell everybody about yourself and who you are and all that?
I am AK, and my channel name is AK Watch. You can find me very easily. I talk about random nerd things, pretty much Marvel movies and shows and anything to do with Westeros. You'll find all those discussions on my channel. And I did have some really cool live streams set up for spooky season, but currently I am battling a bogus copyright strike, so I can't stream until that's cleared. So
I heard something about that. Oh, yeah. I'm really sorry to hear that.
It was from our Wheel of Time live stream.
Oh, you're kidding?
Yep, it was on that.
Oh my gosh.
Nothing in that is copyrightable, but this company claims something. I don't know what exactly it is they were even claiming. Yeah, YouTube's system on handling that is really, really ridiculous.
Yeah. Well, anyway, so you were planning on some spooky streams, but I'm glad you're here being spooky with us.
And I do have some vids that will be coming out, though, that will be uploaded. They're short stories that were done by myself, the other half of 1,000 Eyes in One, Nikki, and a few others in a writers group that we have. So do look forward to those if you like spooky short stories.
Awesome. So we're waiting for Tanya's coming back, and then also Shadowcat Becks will be coming in shortly. So anyway, what we're doing tonight is it's a spooky stream. It's close to Halloween. So, happy Halloween, early Halloween, everybody.
Indeed.
But also we're going to go through the fall of the House of Usher. So if you haven't seen it, it's Alicia, what did you think of the show just to start?
I thought it was spectacular. I actually, I meant to watch a couple episodes last night when me and Tanya got off our stream, but that didn't happen. I actually ended up just going straight to bed, and I binged the whole thing while I was at work today. So as I'm going through my contracts and doing work, I'm listening and watching, and it kept me very well entertained throughout the workday. And I mean, the drama, like I said earlier, I like watching messy situations when I don't have to deal with them. And this whole family was a mess from the very beginning. So
Yeah, absolutely.
I enjoyed watching their journey. Some of them I think were a little more fun than others, but I overall I thought the show was brilliant. It was a really good story. And I hear baby, so I think Tanya's sound is fixed
Tanya,
now.
we can hear you now. Hi.
Yeah, I didn't realize that my microphone has its own mute button.
Oh,
wow.
You know what? I think mine does too, but oops, my hand almost fell off.
But then I also had to go get snacks. So
okay, that's fine. Yeah.
To come back.
Snack, yeah. By the way, I'm wearing a raven on my head. I don't know if you guys can see it.
I love
it's a
it.
dark, but I have a raven on my hat. That's as far as my costume goes. But Tanya, why don't you tell everybody about yourself? Everyone's slowly coming in anyway, so it's not like we're in a huge rush here.
I'll try this again. I'm Tanya. I'm half of 1,000 Eyes on One podcast. And that's how you find us here on YouTube. We just finished covering The Wheel of Time. We have our book club, Wine on an Empty Stomach. This past Sunday, we covered The Monsters We Defy. And we have a stream coming up Tuesday as part of our spooky season film festival, Tuesday night at 9. We're going to be talking about A Nightmare on Elm Street.
Oh, such a great movie, and my kids love it. We always watch it. I think, you know what, honestly, we probably watch it every Halloween and maybe even every Christmas.
I myself like watching horror movies around Christmas time.
Oh, I just want to say hello to Miss Sin. Hello, Lady Sin, sorry. And Natural Selection are here.
Hey, Natural Selection. Cool Gamer. Hello.
Hi, y'all.
Hey.
Anyway, so we were a little late to get going. People are just starting to come in. We're waiting for Beck. She's coming. But Tanya, I just asked Alicia, a.k.a. what her first impression of the show is. What did you think of the show? Just first off impression.
I loved it. I was sucked in from the first episode. I didn't know anything about it when I got into it either. You had mentioned it, and I was like, all right, I'm just going to press play and see where it takes me.
Now, have either of you watched any other Mike Flanagan shows before this? Did you watch
I don't know.
Or
I live alone, so no.
Yes.
And the other ones that I know he's done are Haunting on Hill House and Bly Manor and all that. So it's kind of like his own little multiverse that he's forming over there on Netflix, where a lot of the same actors are in these different roles. I watch other people talk about those shows. That's how I keep up with what's going on with them. This one I watched though because Heidi wanted to chat about it, so I wanted to make sure I had knowledge.
You're awesome, Tanya. So had you watched any Mike Flanagan shows before this?
No. Sorry,
hold on. In the background.
Hold on one second.
Yeah, there's basically Heidi sends out ravens to people and says, "Hey, do you want to do this thing?" And 9 times out of 10, we all just open it and be like, "Check yes here." Send raven back, and then
I don't have a raven on my head. All Heidi ever
has to do is just ask, and we're here. Absolutely.
I don't have a raven on my head, but I have a crow on my head. It's hard. It's kind of cut off,
Close
but
enough.
There's a crow up there. Yes,
close enough for now.
So, no, because I've watched all of the Mike Flanagan shows. He also did Dr. Sleep. If anyone's seen that,
I've seen that one.
Yes, I heard about that.
Which was amazing. And then he also did. I haven't seen it. I think it's called Mr. Mercedes or something like that.
Oh, was that him too?
It's like
awesome.
the couple, or is that one? Is that Mr.
Is it Mr. Mercedes? That's the one where the guy is kind of hijacked radio signals with this like special remote.
Oh no, I think I've got it wrong.
There's an older cop that's trying to figure out who's doing.
No, I've totally got the wrong one then. No, the one I'm thinking of, it's actually where a couple, like they're having sex and he dies while they're having sex, but she's tied up or something. And
I know what you're talking about. I think
maybe it
was in that one too. I know what movie you're talking about.
Yeah, ladies and gentlemen, she really liked Hill House and Bly Manor. The Fall of House of Usher scared the pants off me. I mean, wet my pants scared me. Yeah, it's pretty scary. Hey?
This one had creepy moments, but I found myself not Gerald's Game. There it is. Lean C has
Gerald's Game. Yes, thank you.
Yes.
I don't know where Mr. Mercedes is. Mr. Mercedes also
Mr. Mercedes was a TV show, and it is based on a Stephen King book.
Okay, so Gerald's Game's also a Gerald's Game's also a oh, there she is. Wow.
Oh, look at you. I love it. I absolutely adore it.
The crows have eyes.
Bex understood the assignment.
Bex, look at I've got a crow in my hat.
Oh, that's so good. That's so good. Oh,
and Bex, I have my I have this because of you.
Then you fly. I love it.
Can you see it? Life's a witch, and then you fly.
Do you have a mask?
She does have a mask.
Nice.
Yeah.
Oh, no.
Anyway, Rebecca, that's awesome. Rebecca, we were super late getting going, so you're just joining us. So Rebecca's just joining us. So Rebecca, why don't you introduce yourself, and then also you can maybe give us your first impressions of the fall of the House of Usher. I've got some pictures I can show while you're talking.
Okay. Hi, everybody. It's been a long time since I've been on Heidi's channel. I'm Rebecca, aka Shadowcat Becks, aka Dr. Clara Mandrake. I'm a film editor, film and television editor, and love all things nerd. And yeah, I actually really enjoyed this show very, very much, or limited series, I guess I should say. Sorry, my wig's all messed up.
We were talking about how it's kind of like what is it, American Horror Story? They always bring back the same cast, and Mike Flanagan, his wife, are they still together?
Yeah.
Yeah,
she's always like the blonde, right?
Yeah, she's the blonde in this one. She's always a central character, but he always works with the same people. Mm-hmm. And I was so pleased to see that. Actually, it was funny because Rebecca, I said I'm not going to be able to remember the names of the actors, so I found these, and I have to give credit where credit's due. So I found this on Mike Flanagan's source on Twitter. So this is where I took it from. So he compiled all of the cast so that if we are like, who was that actor? So Bruce Greenwood, who's on the top left corner.
Yes.
He's from Canada. Always loved him since St. Elsewhere. So it was really great to see him.
That was supposed to be Frank Langella.
Yes, I heard that, and then something happened.
He was a bad boy.
Oh, dear.
I think
he used to be with Whoopi Goldberg. They used to be a couple.
Really?
Years ago, yeah.
Was that pre or post Ted Danson?
I think it was around the same time. I think she had, she was with Ted for a while, and then she was with Frank Langella for a while. But he was one of the most famous Draculas, like back in the 70s. He used to play Dracula.
I just had to look up who he was because I recognized the name, but I couldn't picture his face. And yeah, he's been in a lot.
Oh yeah, he's very famous. So anyway, so really, really great cast. Here's the cast. Many of them have
a quick shout out, Heidi.
Yes, of course.
The actress Tania Miller. I forget what her character name was, but she also played a very interesting character in Foundation, the TV show. If you guys haven't watched that, you should totally check it out. She's top all the way to the right.
Am I on the right one?
First page.
Am I? Oh, in the first page?
Yep.
Oh yes, of course. Yes, absolutely. In season 1.
She was great in this show too. I really loved how she played this character.
And she's also a bad guy, and I can't remember. It's Michelle Clapton's other show that she did. She plays a bad guy in it, and she's fantastic. I love her. But no, she was wonderful in Foundation, absolutely. And she's been, from my recollection, she's been in every one of these Mike Flanagan stories.
Okay, cool.
I think maybe she wasn't in Bly Manor, but I know she was in The Haunting of Hill House, and was she in Midnight Mass? Anyway, so we all love the show, so that's really great news. Now I was asking Rebecca, I don't have much knowledge of Edgar Allan Poe, so apparently this is loosely based on a story about Edgar Allan Poe. But when I went to look it up, there's really, really not a lot from the original story. I think the two men sitting down together might be part of the story.
So each episode is loosely based off a different Edgar Allan Poe story, or has elements to several different stories. Like the Black Cat, for example, he has a short story called The Black Cat. And, they kind of, in The Telltale Heart, So each episode kind of gives you like an idea of what's going to happen if you know what the episode name is, and it makes a lot of sense. But there's a lot of little Edgar Allan Poe Easter eggs throughout the entire series.
I did for sure notice the Pit and the Pendulum. I for sure, because that's for me one of the most famous, and I for sure noticed that right away, what was happening on that one.
Yeah.
Also, there's like ravens throughout, the show, right?
Yeah. A lot of his poems, like the Raven, for example, and that was the last episode by far was my favorite episode. And really, like, I really enjoy like when they actually started bringing in Edgar Allan's poetry. And yeah, it's just kind of like sent chills down my spine as soon as I heard like Once Upon a Midnight Dreary.
Oh yeah, I had read this too. Lady Sin, Susanna Bell Lee is a poem I learned in 5th grade. So she's one of the characters in the show. So how do you guys want to do this? Do you want to go like Rebecca, I have all of the cast here. Did you want to go in order of character or like we could go in reverse order, like of the kills? By the way, there will be spoilers. I don't think we can avoid the spoilers.
Yeah. However, I'm game for whatever.
However flows best for you, my lady.
Yeah.
So how did you feel about the beginning of the show, starting off kind of in the middle of the story? Like it was sort of like we started in the middle of the story, like halfway, 3 children are dead, and then we kind of go to the future and have him sitting down with I've forgotten his name. Austin? No.
Austin.
August, sorry.
August, that's it.
Doing his confession. And now, did that remind you, did that sort of style of storytelling remind you of other things you've seen before where, I mean, actually, I think in another one of Mike Flanagan's stories, it might've been Bly Manor, she sits down and tells the story of it. So have we seen this before? And did you like that sort of storytelling approach?
I enjoyed it. I don't know. I can't think off the top of my head right now where I've seen it before, but I really liked it. I liked having a narrator.
Mm.
Yeah.
Yeah. What about you, Alicia?
It reminded me a little bit of the Telltale Heart and how that plays out, because I think he has to sit in a room and answer all those questions from cops for a while, and it seemed like he was telling a story amid that. And I liked the way they did the time jumps back and forth. They weren't just gratuitous, but every part where they did that, it fit perfectly into the puzzle that we were all trying to put together. So yeah, I thought they did a great job. I was hooked from the first 5 minutes.
Mm-hmm. What about you, Rebecca?
I enjoyed it. I think I was a little worried during the first half of the first episode where it's this is good, but I'm a little worried it's going. I wasn't sure he was going to stick the landing. And to be fair, I have not watched any other Mike Flanagan series. He's just hasn't been on my radar. Sorry, my hair is
No, it's fine. Oh, you've got a cool background.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, actually, okay. Well, one thing that just came to my mind is Interview with a Vampire.
Yeah.
So maybe, but it's possible Anne Rice, who might have been inspired
Good
by
callback.
Yeah. Well,
Edgar Allan Poe.
So yeah, I think this is a pretty not. It's a pretty common storytelling trope to have a narrator to well, let's take you back to the beginning kind of thing. And I don't think it was necessarily spoiled anything. Once you you see the 3, you see the 3, and then they have the little montage showing that there were more that died as well. And kind of gave you a really quick snapshot of kind of what we were getting into. So yeah, I was a little I was cautiously optimistic, but I mean, I think he really stuck the landing. So,
Well, and as an editor yourself, Bex, like, so how did you feel that that they did with the editing? I mean, I'm assuming when he wrote the script, he wrote it in this sort of nonlinear way. But do you think that they did a good job with the editing on it?
Yeah, absolutely. Like, I thought everything, like top to bottom with this show, was just like executed so well. Like, my biggest gripe about the show, I did think like some of the dialogue was really kind of,
was that too hard?
Like, it was almost trying to be too campy on purpose.
Yeah.
You know, and that was like, I think that was like one of my bigger worries. Like how much are they like going for the camp? Like, how much are they pushing it? Some of the performances, I don't know, did the camp justice. I mean, like, there were some really like bad lines, but that's also part of the genre as well. You know,
one of the things I was disappointed at when I first heard they were making a show called The Fall of the House of Usher, I thought it was going to be a fashion house. So I was a little bit disappointed. I was thinking it would be like, you know, Armani or something. It'd be like The Fall of the House of Armani, and that it would be a family of, you know, working in a design house. But it turns out it's a pharmaceutical company. But I mean, it makes sense to me, like having watched it, because obviously it's speaking to something that's going on now, right? Like the fentanyl crisis.
Yeah.
And also, I mean, did you find that I mean, I guess you did, but I did see that there were a lot of very current themes happening in there. Did you find that there a lot of social commentary, maybe some subtle, maybe not so subtle?
Oh yeah, very much not so subtle. Like, you know, basically like between, well, you definitely know that they like watch Succession's like, oh, I know what we're gonna do.
Yeah.
You know,
and I haven't watched that show, but immediately I did think of that. I was like, it must be, you know.
I haven't either. It's on my list. It was on my summer list, but summer got away from me.
Watch it and then do a review. So Tanya, what about you? Did you find there were some overt like social comments about that they were making?
Definitely. Obviously all of the pharmaceutical stuff. What's her name? Madeline's speech about the Supreme Court, and even Verna talking about her client who said that he could shoot someone on Fifth Avenue and get away with it. We all know who she was talking about there. So yeah, it was definitely like overtly current.
What about you, Alicia?
Everything that both the ladies just said, and I think the biggest thing that stood out to me was the AI program that they're working on, because AI is a very hot topic right now, and that's dangerous. And the way that they wove that in just in little nuggets throughout the whole thing, and then all the way towards the end, that final part of what's going on with this dude not answering his granddaughter,
that was freaky.
That was creepy and ridiculous. And
it was giving Black Mirror.
The other night on the stream, Sarah Connor has been trying to talk to us for years. Why are you fools not listening?
Black Mirror. Yeah.
It's So I really liked how they incorporated all of that. I think they did very well with it.
And also, like, I mean, it's funny because even though they didn't think that what had happened when they negotiated with Verna, you know, I guess they decided maybe it became dreamlike or something. So they didn't really think that this was going to happen. At the same time, it's interesting that Madeline is like sort of trying to find
she's trying to find a
treatment for
loophole
immortality, or
right from the beginning.
Yeah, right from the beginning. By the way, I was going to say, did you guys find when you saw this picture, you thought she kind of looks like Gloria Steinem?
Huh. Did anyone think cross my mind? But now that you mention it,
yeah, she's kind of like
very tall.
She's kind of like I would call. Oops, I'm losing my hat. I kind of think of her as almost being like a fake feminist. Like, I don't know. Is that an incorrect?
No, I get what you mean. Like, did you watch The Crown?
I haven't seen it. No.
So there's a scene where Margaret Thatcher is giving her whole spiel about why women shouldn't be in power. And it's like you're hearing it from this woman prime minister who's in power, talking about women being too emotional and all of these things. And that's what Madeline struck me as someone who feels like she should be in power and she can do this, but in general, women should not. Like she struck me as that.
Yeah, so she's like a female chauvinist almost. Like she could be like Cersei Lannister. I should be the one wearing the armor and you should be the one wearing the dress.
Right, but not the rest of you hoes.
Yeah, exactly. Like I feel like
but she
sorry, go ahead, Alicia.
No, I was saying she could actually talk the talk that Cersei was trying to talk.
Right.
You know, she had the knowledge, she did her dirt, and she could back up everything that she said. But again, when I say that she was trying to find a loophole in the deal before the deal was even fully formed, and we don't see that until we get that conversation at the very end to see where the whole thing actually started and what is going on. Because the way they wove in the supernatural into it, I thought was really cool. But my question that I first came up with, I think, is why does it seem like this guy is questioning everything that's happening to him right now? Because you knew what was coming. The whole thing was laid out for you.
That's why I was wondering.
Denial or willful forgetfulness.
Yeah, that's why I was wondering if it kind of faded like a memory, and maybe
it was
she
40
did that
years
on purpose.
Yeah, and also he is suffering from dementia right now.
That's true too. Yes.
You know, so there's.
Is he?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, Cardisil.
They have a name for it. Yeah, Cardisil. Yeah, it's a vascular dementia.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, like
his mother had that
in the show. They were talking, like he talks about, like, you know, it became like a faded memory, and you know, probably to the point where, you know, like they like he says, like they just kind of like at some point chalked it up to a dream. But I also wonder, though, how much that actually like made him. I mean, obviously he opened up his gates to his offspring because
of the way he was treated.
Right, his father denied him and Madeline, but you know, was there also a little bit like the more offspring, like the more power? I don't know. That might be something I'm pulling out of my butt.
It did low key seem like he was trying to like. Well, I mean, because their own flip bleeds and everything. Like he was trying to make the 8 all around. Like this dude has one kid almost from like all the different ethnicities that are in his line now.
I don't
what I'm trying to say. He's basically Robert Baratheon out here. Exactly. I'm saying he has all of his kids, and kudos, yay. Okay, you're making sure these kids get a decent education, I guess, except for the youngest one. I don't know what was going on. With him.
He brought them in. One of them, like, what's her name? Camille. I don't think he brought her until she was like 20, so he wasn't raising that.
Yeah, that's right. That's right. Yeah, there was only one of them that met. There's the little face.
Hi. Hello. Oh, hi, sweetheart.
Oh,
so cute.
Oh. Yeah, Mommy Mountain. Yep.
Hello. There.
Yep. He's got to climb all the way to your shoulder. Yep. He is your own personal Pikachu. You will never get rid of him. Yeah.
I think, so that's why I'm wondering, because like when they made the deal, he'd only had 2 children at that point, and I think his wife had them, right? So maybe he just discarded them. Okay, that's fine. And then Madeline, I think, had already decided she never was going to have children, so that wasn't a problem. Did you find that her character, like even though they were twins, she was the dominant twin? She kind of did a lot of the manipulation.
Yeah, I mean,
absolutely,
saying it from the get-go.
Yeah. And I mean, because I think, you know, his wife, I think she was a really good person. And I think he maybe could have been a good person. Like they said, he would have been a poet, I think, had he not gone down this dark path. So he possibly could have been a good person as well. But I feel that, she was, you know, very ambitious and ruthless. I was actually surprised, I know I'm going to the end, but I was actually surprised at his willingness to put the bad boss, you know, to brick him in. Like I could see her doing it and him standing by.
I wasn't.
You weren't surprised? Okay, go ahead. Tell me what you think.
No, I think for that point in time where his headspace was, I think it was very easy for his sister to plant those seeds and say, hey, A, B, C, D. Like, they already didn't like that guy. I mean, and rightfully so. I don't feel bad for him. And that also, that's
I felt a little bad.
If I remember correctly, this is all. Yeah, true, very true. I want to say that's also something in an Edgar Allan Poe
yes
story.
Yes,
is the guy getting bricked up in the wall?
Yes, it is.
I pretty much knew he was in there when he went and sat on the floor and was looking at that wall. I was like, I'm pretty sure
there had to be something with that wall, right?
Mm-hmm. I thought they would have killed him first, though, and then put him in there. So I was surprised at that, because that shows like a really high level of cruelty. I think
that's ruthlessness, and I think that's all from Madeline. Yeah, he was just Roderick was just following the leader.
Well, I agree to a certain extent, but also at some point, like, he definitely made the turn, and I think,
very true,
and he made that turn before. Like whenever, like that, I can't remember which episode this happened in, but like the case when he was working with August in their younger days.
Yeah.
And then he, that's when like the turn came. Where it's
where he basically played August against the system. I mean, it was a gamble from the start, but he played it right, and he came out on top.
But I wonder how much he, it started genuinely and then it turned.
Yeah, that's what they didn't show us exactly at what point. Did it turn? Yeah, because I think he was genuinely trying to help.
Yeah,
I think when it started out.
When I was watching some reviewers, I think some of them thought he decided when they were doing the testimony, and I don't think so. I'm pretty sure he had planned it well in advance.
No, it was planned in advance, definitely.
But for sure, I think his sister was manipulating that whole situation.
Yeah, I think that was all her idea.
She was sort of the evil mastermind.
Yeah, I mean, when she started talking about him going back and eating the shit, basically, her wheel started turning that early, and so I think she probably figured all along that she wasn't going to let him go along with it, because all it ends up is with him fired and having done the right thing. And she's thinking, well, what about us? What do you get out of it? And so I think she decided long before that she wasn't going to let that happen, and had to slowly plant those seeds and, help him get to that same point.
I agree with that. I think she kind of looked at it almost the same situation as with their dad.
Yeah,
and she was determined to not let that rinse, wash, and repeat. So she cut it off where she felt that she needed to, and started twisting him.
Now, I lost. Did we?
No, she's still on audio.
Okay. Oh, okay. No, I was going to say, do we want to talk a little bit about the mom and like that whole supernatural thing? Like what do you think was going on there with the kids? Like, so they bury the mom. Do you think that she was still alive, or do you think she came back as a zombie? What were your thoughts on that? And maybe that is also a Poe thing as well.
I don't think she was alive when they buried her. I think there was already some supernatural things pulling the strings to get into their bloodline already at that point.
Yeah, because she was in a box. She wasn't screaming. She like crawled out of a box and choked the man to death. I definitely think it was supernatural. I don't think they accidentally buried her alive.
So do you think that Verna, she had already sort of identified the two of them even before they went ahead and murdered the boss? Like, do you think she had her eye on them?
100%. From the very beginning, I think from them as kids, she was already watching.
Oh, no.
Wow, that's very cool. I like to think that, actually. I think that's really interesting. And because I was wondering, like, had they not, let's say, they had not killed the boss and put him bricked him in and needed an alibi, I wonder if she would have approached them, or she would have, I mean, obviously she what do they call it? She glamored that there was a
A bar.
Actual bar there, right?
Yeah.
There.
Which,
So
how creepy was that?
so cool,
Super
right?
creepy. I think she would have
Bruh.
waited for another opportunity.
Okay.
I think so too. I think she found them very, very fascinating. Like she said,
Yeah.
she likes what like that. That's her. Like we go and people watch at the grocery store. She just watches all over Earth. We're her entertainment.
Hi,
So
Rose.
she's gonna sneak in and get in there wherever she can. I think just to see what happens.
My friend Ro is here. We just actually
Hey,
did
Ro.
an interview with like Prop House the other day. So we're having a video coming up that. Ro, look, I decorated my set. So it's kind of like Halloween.
I love it.
Woo!
I love it. Yes.
And I was trying to play music earlier, but it screwed up my audio. So so there's no creepy music, unfortunately. Yeah, I was that to me, that's what really hooked me on the show. Like I was kind of like, oh, I don't know about this show. It seems pretty good. Maybe not as good as Midnight Mass, but the one thing I do recall from watching other Mike Flanagan shows, like, and it's funny because when I first saw what is the sequel to The Shining again?
Dr. Sleep.
Dr. Sleep. I was like, oh my God, this is so good. Because I was kind of one of those, I'm not really in favor of a sequel to that, but it was so good. Like Rose the Hat and all that. That was amazing.
Yeah.
Oh, thanks so much. I'm wearing a raven. Well, actually, it's not a raven, it's a crow hat.
Crow.
So anyway, yeah, so I love that dynamic of the mom. And the mom was actually, she's also in some of the other shows that Mike's done before. So do we want to talk a bit about some of the kids? Like I've got some pictures here of the
kids. His gang of shenanigans.
Yeah. So there's the two that come from Annabelle, and then
the originals.
And then the four bastards.
The bastards.
I
love that.
And all the bastards.
I love that they're called bastards because, of course, I think of Game of Thrones when I think of bastards, right? Yeah. But where's my pictures here? Let's see if I can find my pictures. Oh, Bex is back.
Sorry.
There she is.
Sorry. Everyone I'm working with right now is on the West Coast. And I had to call them real quick.
That's okay. Why don't I go? I don't have a picture of Prospero. Oh, here. He's in the family picture here. He is the young one at the back.
Poor Prospero, yeah.
Perry. I love Perry.
Was absolutely horrific.
Young Caligula.
The first one. He was the first one to go, right?
Young Caligula. I know.
I'm sorry. There's a reason why you don't let Gen Z organize sex party orgies. Like they're not going to be up to code. Like I didn't see any snacks there. Like
no.
Yeah.
Forget all that.
Was terrible. And it's funny. I did an event
drinks.
I did an event years ago at this nasty warehouse.
Sex party?
It wasn't a sex party.
It was an orgy.
Actually, it was like a rodeo themed party, but it was in an old warehouse, kind of like that. Like really, like there was asbestos. I'm like, I don't think we should even be here. This is terrible. They're serving food and stuff.
Right.
But yeah, I was like, okay,
you have to properly scout your location. Okay, you had the nice looking bar and the lights and the music and all that. But you didn't think to test these random pipes in this old ass building to see what was actually going to come through those tanks that you didn't even think to look in before you connected the damn water lines there?
Here's the thing. He wasn't paying attention at all at that meeting when they were talking about taking down those buildings. And had he listened to Frederick at all, he would have found out that was not water in those tanks.
Or not. I definitely do agree with that. But just because if I'm going to go in and do something like that, especially if my name is at the top of the list, you're coming because it's my venue. I am looking at every single inch of that place to make sure nothing fails. How you didn't do a test run?
That's what I'm saying.
How did you not do a test run?
I would have wanted to test it.
Warn him too. She warned him.
I would have. She did warn him at the party, but even before that, I would have wanted to test it anyway because it's tanks of stagnant water that you don't know how long they've been there. So why wouldn't you want to test it before you have it showered down on you?
Yeah,
he
obviously they set him up with he didn't care about any of that, like the little details.
Yeah, he was trying to run his own game.
Yeah, he was just so dead set on trying to make his name and make his own way within the family, even though he was part of the family. It was eventually going to happen, but impatient.
It was funny because I read this thing that people were asking Mike Flanagan if this is based off of the deadly sins, the 7 deadly sins, and he actually said no. He said because there's 6 kids actually, there isn't 7.
Yeah.
But it does seem like there's themes, and again, I think it's back to social commentary. So he's like, supposed to be like an influencer, a TikTok or Instagram influencer, I guess that's sort of. But also, he's really young and kind of dumb. I don't know. You guys probably have a better description than me.
He's trying to get daddy's attention to actually take him seriously where in anything that comes to do with the family. Like he did try to pitch the idea, but they weren't trying to hear that. That generation, they can't think on this level I can't think of what the right word is, but
no, I think you've got it right. You're right, because he did a legitimate proposal. Yeah, he did a legitimate proposal to them, and they just
they were bored by it. They're like a bar.
You can go do that anywhere. Well, no, actually, you can't. You do have to do it a specific type of way. And had the acid rain not happened, kid actually had a good thing going. And I think they would have seen that. But
it was all a setup to extort people.
And also to get back at his older brother and try to get his wife, which was, I feel like she should have been a little bit smarter in that situation, but I get it.
Maybe don't go to your brother-in-law's orgy.
Yeah.
I mean, but exactly. Go party at somebody else's club though. Like don't go where some shit could pop off.
No, she wanted some shit to pop off.
She paid the ultimate price though.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh boy.
Although like she does like, they reveal like what her future is.
Yeah. She does end up coming out on top, but she has to lose her baby to do that. And I didn't like that part.
So this episode was called The Masquerade of the Red Death, and this is also an Edgar Allan Poe story. And it's very similar, like basically like it's a masquerade ball, and like I'm reading it. I haven't read this story.
You have to go and read some.
Yeah, I haven't read this one either.
It made me want to go back and read some.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I did actually. I have Audible credits, so I got like the completed works.
Nice.
But I'm not crazy about the narrator, but oh well. Yeah, so it's I think it's really just kind of going back to like what it's symbolizing, like. And yeah, like I think you're right. It is a little bit like, the talking about influencers and like that kind of like overly materialistic, consumer-ish, sex obsessed culture. But
honestly,
just like kind of like really, I think it's other than like the mother's death, like it's kind of just like stage like. Shit's gonna go down for all of them.
Well, and also remember over the eggs, like he got upset about the little exotic eggs, and then he held a weapon to his friend's neck. So he's a little fucker,
Yeah, I mean, well, they all are. Look at them; they're all entitled assholes.
Yeah,
and they're rivals because he made them into rivals,
right?
Which is really suckish.
I think he's also the least. I think he's like one of the least liked, isn't he, of all of the siblings? Like I think they dislike him.
Yeah, because they all just look at him like he's a screw up.
Yeah.
Well, but he's
also the most recent.
Yeah,
and he is the youngest. Yeah, I think that's a lot of it. He's the youngest. It
splits the inheritance up once again.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I think even like the manner that they come in so late in life. I mean, 20's not that late, but. Not because they don't grow up together. It's like, it's just going to be natural that like, I don't think any of them actually like each other.
Yeah. And also to grow up like maybe lower to middle class and then suddenly be thrust into all of this wealth. I can't even imagine what that would be like. That would just be pretty crazy. Assuming like, say, Camille, you were mentioning she didn't come until her 20s or something. And then even the oldest kids, like they grew up with mom for a while until later. I think he said that then when he came into money, they were like, oh, okay, we'll go with dad.
Yeah.
I have to say, I know a situation like that. Like I know this mom who left her husband because he was violent. And then, so she raised her son by himself. And then, but then he would go visit his dad, and dad had a lot of money and he'd always want to go. He always saw wow, like dad has all this money. He's awesome. Meanwhile, his father was a fucking prick and
he didn't see the game.
Yeah. And and so it was really interesting how he was sort of mesmerized by the money, like again, glamored kind of by the money. So do we want to speak a little bit about Camille, who she was kind of an interesting character, because she has these assistants, which I thought this whole thing was hilarious. Here she is here.
She was a walking lawsuit just waiting to happen. Like, Jesus, I understand you put it in the contract and they're supposed to be quote unquote full service assistants, but come on, man.
I doubt that's legally binding.
That's what I'm saying. Like, she is a literal court case just waiting to happen. And if they really wanted to, I mean, it would have been settled out of court, obviously, because Pim would have came in and talked whatever shit he needed to talk to make them back down. But they would have got a hefty check.
Yeah, well, and also
as an outsider looking in, for me, I think that's the route that they should have went, because she would have deserved that.
Well, and Camille doesn't know this, but also because of the arrangement that her dad made, there is nothing that they can do against them because they have that protection, right? So she doesn't know this, but I guess it just seems that way. But I was going to say the two actors who are behind her there, they're in the Midnight Club, both really excellent actors. The girl on the left, actually, she's from Toronto, where I'm from. I thought that was really funny. I was kind of like, I wasn't like completely shocked, but I was like, oh, that's interesting. But what I love, and in this picture, he's not wearing it. They dressed in matching outfits, like even like they're both wearing skirts, which I thought was great.
Their ties are the same.
They're wearing matching outfits. So it's almost like it's part of, like they have to wear a uniform, and then they both go to the other side of the room and they both undress, and then they both climb into bed, and she just sort of comes. Like, oh my God, it was hilarious. I thought that was so funny.
I'm not gonna knock her for doing her thing. Look, okay, if you got it, get it. I understand. We have needs out here. However, you don't need to lord that shit over people, because hot damn, bitch, now I just want to slap you.
Yeah.
Girl, use a dating app, not LinkedIn.
Right. Yeah, I know. This is what Tinder is for. You don't need to you don't need to sexually harass your employees. Damn.
But I was just like, I don't even know where you could get a contract that stipulates that you have to sexually pleasure your boss. Like,
it is completely
illegal contract.
Illegal, but because they have a supernatural contract on their bloodline that supersedes that, they get away with it.
Illegal contracts are not.
Also, just for legal disclaimers, y'all, do not try any of these shenanigans at home. Please and thank you. Don't do that.
There was a couple of questions I wanted to ask you. One question is that has, do you relate to which child do you think that you're most like? I mean, you may be like, I'm not like any of them, but is there anybody that you're like, I'm kind of a little bit like that one? Or actually, no, not the children, maybe just any character in that. Because I have picked a different character who I think maybe I'm more like. That's just sort of a fun question. I'm going to pick one to start. I think I'm most like Juno. Maybe I'm not a drug addict, but I feel like I'm kind of most like her. I actually really liked her character.
I loved her.
I thought she was so great. And I kind of like, and actually the actress is, it was funny because she's in the Midnight Club as well. And she was in a wheelchair in the Midnight Club, and I looked it up, and she actually does have, I think she had to have part of her leg amputated. So that's actually true.
Oh, wow.
So I love that they hired an actor with, who has an actual prosthetic, as opposed to hiring someone, or I think they probably wrote it in maybe, because in the Midnight Club, they kind of write that in, that her character has cancer and lost part of her leg. So I love how they kind of incorporated that in. But first of all, aren't her clothes like the best? Like,
yes.
I love that she dressed the way she thought a billionaire's old wife should dress.
I know, like little Chanel suits and stuff.
Yeah.
But the scene where Tamerlane throws the chair.
Oh, the microphone stand.
I'm like, oh my God, she's killed her. I was convinced that she was dead.
I thought she killed her too.
Yeah, that was so funny. So would you guys feel that you're like any of the characters in the show, or is it just me?
I guess I would say I would be most like Leo, even though I don't do drugs.
Mm-hmm.
But Leo, he wasn't really into all of the like family bullshit so much as he just kind of wanted to have a good time.
Yeah.
He wanted to have a good time,
Leo.
and he was the only one who mourned his siblings.
Who mourned all of them? Yeah.
Now,
the only one that was really sad.
Who do you think killed the cat?
The cat. I don't think the cat ever really died. Because remember
the original cat? You don't think the original cat?
Well, no, because remember when he is on the ground after he kills himself, the cat comes walking over with the Gucci collar on, and he had never put a new collar on the new cat.
Oh, so you think the cat never died? The original cat?
I think the cat let itself out. I think the cat just got out. He hallucinated the whole thing.
I thought the cat was just what's her name in another animal form?
Verna?
Yeah, Verna.
Because
like with
the chimp, with Camille.
With the chimp thing, yeah. And I didn't catch it right away, but after that scene, and then it went into this thing with Leo. That's I think when it really kicked in my gear, because she's wearing that collar in part of that scene.
Hi, Toborn.
All full kinky outfits.
We're not really dressed kinky.
I mean, speaking of kinky outfits,
he was talking about the assistants.
Oh, the assistants. Yes.
The assistants.
So I thought you were talking about us. Yes. Actually, I'll put it back up again.
To take it back a little bit, just back to your prior question, I'm going to say I would be a mix of Leo and what's the chick that I said was from Foundation.
Oh yes,
Victorine. Victorine, I loved her name.
Victorine, thank you.
Amazing.
Yes. I think I would be a blend of them.
Yeah, like Victorine.
Just for I don't want to deal with the bullshit factor, but also I have things to do, and we just got to go get it done. I just wouldn't be malicious with my shit.
Well, I think Victorine at the beginning did have good intentions, and then it sort of her ethics. I mean, I guess because she gets lured in by Verna, she's like, okay, but also that pressure from her dad. Because I guess he's thinking, if I die, then all of my children are going to die. I don't know. Is that what was going on? He's thinking, if I die, my kids will die. So if I can extend my life.
The deal is the kids die before him.
Oh, that's true. Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But they do get a chance to grow. And so maybe he thought that if he lived longer, then the kids would live longer too.
Sure.
Because if he's close to death, that means the kids are close to death as well, because they're going to die before him.
It's not just his kids, it's like his entire
bloodline,
his whole legacy.
I was hoping and praying that Frederick was not Lenore's real dad, just so she could live.
That's the only one that I really hated, and honestly I think this was very cool for Kitty, for Verna's character, because that's the only one where we saw her go in, and she did it in a fully merciful way, and it seemed like she did not really want to do that, but because she is a part of the contract, she is a part of the bloodline, so it had to go. But she at least got to go out peacefully, because she was a true sweetheart.
I mean, I knew, like, once like everything kind of was like clear, like, I mean, it wasn't spelled out, but I was like, as soon as I heard her name was Lenore, it's like, oh, that.
Because that's also from a poem.
That's from The Raven.
Oh yes.
Yeah, which is why, like, in a way, like, I thought her death was like the most like beautiful out of all of them. Not
and she said, and I think Verna said that she would have done the same thing with Frederick until he went completely
off.
Like, so this is the interesting thing, is that these characters have agency to a certain extent, then so she just is sort of, playing with that, like what their intentions are. And whereas with Frederick's case, like she didn't really do anything. I mean, she told his wife to leave the club. She ended up being in the hospital from the burns. She's the only one I think who survived, if I'm correct.
Only one that survived. Yeah.
And I mean, he could have just done the right thing, but he gets so obsessed with this idea that she had like a burner phone or whatever. So
and that's why that's why I said when we were backstage before we started, I got beef with him because, bro, you didn't even do the bare minimum of detective work to try to get to these conclusions that your brain went to. She didn't bang your brother. She literally was just standing in the corner by herself for most of the night dancing.
Yeah, but
she did show up.
Yeah, I was gonna say, if I found out my husband was at my sister's orgy, I don't think at that point it matters whether or not he actually smashed my sister or not. Like the intent was there for her to be orgying with somebody.
Be mad about that. I understand, but all of this extra shit that he was doing,
I'm not saying you should torture, but
he thought she was sleeping with his brother specifically.
I think it's a fair assumption.
I don't know, man.
She was at his orgy. She had to have been invited for some reason.
She was at the orgy, yes.
And
not going to contest that.
And also, Leo probably was like the closest with. I can't remember Club Kid's name.
Harry.
Harry.
Prospero?
Or Prospero, I think was his full name.
Prospero, which is like a god, isn't it? Prospero?
Sounds like
I feel like I've heard it in some mythology story, but I don't remember which one.
Oh, now I gotta look that up. No, but I think Frederick knew his brother well enough where I mean, I agree that he, that doesn't excuse him torturing his wife, but, I mean, he wasn't like,
if you want to be mad that she went to the orgy, I get that. That's cool. I understand. But you are doing the most.
Yeah, I'm not
right
saying
now,
he should have tortured her.
Not at all. But also,
I'm just saying his idea didn't come from nowhere. She showed up to his brother's orgy.
To the orgy. I get it.
I also think had the opportunity presented itself, I think she would have smashed him.
Absolutely.
Would have. I will agree. I will agree with that.
But okay, but if that's the case, let's say you find out that your partner has gone to an orgy and then with the intention of possibly having a hookup, but then they get, burned nearly to death. When you think, okay, they got their punishment, that is their punishment. They've already, nothing worse can happen.
I would, but I'm not a character in an
That's true. You're not
in a story where my bloodline is cursed.
Okay, can I ask a question though? Can I ask a question? Knowing how Henry Thomas speaks in real life and seeing him in other shows, he put on a bit of an affected sort of, accent, kind of what do you think was going on there? I was thinking maybe he was in the closet.
Which one is Henry Thomas?
Frederick.
Okay.
I thought he was just really unsure of himself.
Okay.
Yeah, so that's what I gathered.
Yeah, nothing he ever said had any kind of force or
really held any weight to it.
Yeah, like everything he said he was unsure of. So there was no confidence in anything he said.
Oh
yeah, like he had the position that he had just because he happened to be one of the original kids.
And he knows that. He knows that.
And he knows that's why he's there, and he doesn't really assert himself in any way, shape, or form.
According to this, I'm reading online, Prospero is Latin for, it means fortunate or prosperous, suggestive of one flush with abundance in every sense of the word. So, I mean, it sounds like prosperous.
And natural selection
describes him perfectly.
Natural selection very wisely pointed out that he is a character in The Tempest.
And there's a lot of a lot of Shakespearean quotes in the show, right? Bruce Greenwood says a lot of quotes in the show. Mm-hmm. Is that Penelope?
Yes.
Aw. What was your other cat's name?
Buster.
Buster, yeah. Aw.
Oh.
We've lost Tanya again. Okay, so who else haven't we chatted about? Do you want to talk about? We talked a little bit about Camille. That was pretty. Oh, hey, Reflective. How are you?
Hey, Cassie. Also, I will say
nice.
for Camille's character, Chick, for all of her faults and the random things I want to punch her in the face for, Chick had her job down.
Oh, she did. She was really good.
You want to talk about spinning a story, and making sure like the world feels sympathy for you, even when you don't feel sympathy for the thing that has happened in your family. She was making her check. She earned her position there.
By the way, when I saw this picture, which was, released just before the show came out, this is why I thought that the show might have been about a fashion house, is because I thought she looked like, like a...
She is very much the fashionista.
She is a fashionista in this, with a little assistance there. So Napoleon, it's funny, this actor, he is so good. I've seen him in so many shows. Amazing actor. He did such a great job in this. This is Leo, right?
Yeah.
Yes, that's Leo.
Oh, no, I have it. What did you think of him? Like he's not exactly an honest actor, but he's an addict, right? So, I was kind of surprised he was in a relationship, because I was thinking
that was one of those, like,
that
was the harder relationship for me to buy. I mean, his boyfriend just I
didn't seem like they fit together very well.
No, not at all. And even I think it was like an unfortunate, probably not a very well written character, and not really, paid attention to that much.
I don't think they seem like they fit together as a couple, but I did think that Leo, I was not surprised that he was in a relationship, because again, he was the only one who mourned his siblings, and I feel like Leo was a character that was looking for love, from family, from relationships, even though he was still, being somewhat hedonistic. I feel like he genuinely wanted to be loved, so it wasn't surprising to me that he had a partner.
Yeah.
Fair. Yeah. Although, had no problem cheating on that.
No problem cheating
at
all. Like, man's heard something happen to your sibling. He is on his way home to see if you are okay on the elevator, and you got your dick in some chick's mouth.
Yeah.
Bro, on this man's couch in his house.
Well, it was his own couch, because his boyfriend moved in with him.
I mean, I understand, but you know the correlation I'm making.
Rebecca, how did you feel about the whole thing with the cats? Being a cat lover, I'm a cat lover. How did you feel about how they used black cats?
I've been racking my brain about which character am I most like, and it's between the cat and the raven.
Yeah, that's Ravina. Then do you feel like you're Ravina?
Verna,
I should say.
Well, no, I mean,
although Verna is an anagram of raven.
Yes.
Yeah.
Which I didn't pick that up until I was reading something the other day. It's yeah. Oh yeah, that's good. Leo is a big cat, but I mean, it's another story of Edgar Allan Poe's that I've not read, but I thought the cat was great. It was great stunt casting. That little fucker just was jumping out of nowhere and just and I love their use of using animal, although the apes that was hard to watch,
the chimps
rather. Thank you.
Oh yeah,
all the chimp stuff was really hard to watch.
Brutal.
Yeah, that's actually that is, I think, where I was trying to defend what's her name, the actor Victorine. I was trying to defend her, but yeah, you're right. The way she apparently, just the way they disposed of the monkeys, right? The apes, I should say. So that was just.
I mean, the disposal is bad, but just what she's doing is bad. And it didn't click right away. I think I had to watch the scene twice because I was a little confused as to what was going on when she jumped on the table like that. But then I rewound and I listened to what she was saying. I said, oh no, this isn't just a person speaking. This is the chimp actually just being shown in human form saying, nah, this is the bullshit that you're doing. It sucks. None of your shit is actually working and you're tricking everyone and it's hurting us. You're killing us. So yeah, you, like she said, you shouldn't have been there that night.
Yeah, it was funny. I was thinking about, there's this video I saw recently where an ape had been kept in captivity for years and finally got to see the outside. Hadn't seen the outside in like 40 years because apes live a long time. Yeah. And the look on the ape's face. And it was funny. It was weird because I remember years ago, my husband was telling me that his ex, she worked in a lab and they had animals and they had to actually be very careful because they would get like bomb threats and things like that.
I have one of my good friends. She works in a cancer research lab, and they work on mice, and like the regulations that they have to follow, even just like working on mice, is crazy.
I think a lot of things have changed. Like in Canada, like you can't do. I think there might be a little bit still, but at one point you used to be able to experiment on rabbits for makeup, and now like they've pretty much outlawed that. But unfortunately, there are certain countries I think that are still have those practices,
right?
And then with trials and things like that, you know. Yeah, it's just like that was so heartbreaking seeing those apes in those cages. It just broke my heart.
Yeah.
I'm sure it was CGI, but it was just so awful.
Yeah. But it was also, it actually, I mean, not just like Camille's, but like one of my other favorite episodes was the Victorine episode, which was the Telltale Heart episode. And even like, oh, I should grab, like, I'll grab a screen, or do you have a screen grab of like the heart of like the with the
mesh on it?
I don't have it. Yeah. But and it's funny too, because I think I've seen like that doesn't sound too far off. Like I think I've seen things like that in science. So again, back to, you know, them making social commentary, maybe not, this isn't social commentary, but showing some of the technologies. I don't think that that's too far off. Like I've been, in terms of, you know, where the future of healthcare is, for instance.
Yeah. Where'd it go?
Oh, okay.
Okay.
What did?
Cassie's saying a big research group in Maine was one of the first to provide mice accepts whoops. So I'm going to look at, so while you're looking for that, who do we have? We talked about Juno. Now, who do you think Verna is? There's been some discussion that she's a demon, she's a devil, maybe she works for Satan, maybe she's death. Like, what do you all think that she might be?
What is the doctor's name on the character he plays on Good Omens? David Tennant. I mean, is it Aziraphale?
No, that's the other one. God, I was just watching it.
Crowley.
Yeah, that's who I would
sure
put Verna's personality up against. But the extremely malicious, tricky Crawley dashed with a bit of Loki.
But I don't think she was that malicious.
Yeah,
because she was giving them choices. I mean, she was also driving them mad, but I felt like for most of them, it started from a choice.
Mm-hmm.
So like they chose a path.
It was 90% them, 10% of her push.
Yeah, like I don't think she was making them do things. I think that she was, if anything, lowering their inhibitions. remember we were
she
talking
lit
about
the
the charms and the
fire
shirt?
just to see how it would burn.
Yeah, I agree with you. Like she has like low-key tendencies, like where she's an agent of chaos.
Yeah,
you know, like, I don't think she's death specifically, but you know,
I don't think she's dead.
But also at the same time, you know, like the allegory in The Raven is that the Raven is like the harbinger of death. So you know, she's, you know, I like the fact that she's undefined and we don't really know what she is, but yeah, I would put her somewhere between like a demon and like some sort of death, you know, harbinger.
Some amalgamation of death.
Yeah.
Like a death agent.
Yeah, death. Well, the one thing I found is she was pretty honest, like, because usually, like, Loki or
100%.
the devil, a demon would be like a trickster.
You know what?
And I think she was
Rumpelstiltskin.
Demons are tricksters.
Okay.
But also at the same time, she is an agent of chaos.
She is an agent of chaos. I think she would go well up against Rumpelstiltskin from Once Upon a Time.
Like, the question is, like, why did she find Roderick and Madeline in the first place? I mean,
some random adventure she saw on her human watching things.
Does she have, like, she must have some, like, for instance, we were saying earlier that she's had her eye on them since they were children, we think.
Well, even if maybe if she didn't have her eye on them since they were children, she definitely noticed them because they were at a crossroads. They had a decision to make.
Mm-hmm.
And they hit that crossroads, and she's all, you know, they hit that crossroads and they've made the choice to murder a man to further themselves. And so here she is to see how far do you want to let this go?
That's a good point, because it happened. I kind of forgot that for a second, because you saw them with her in an earlier episode, but you know, without
we didn't know the context of it.
That it was like when they, you know, set in stone.
So maybe
the plan.
When they sign the contract.
Yeah. So now that I've thought about it more, I don't think she's been watching them since she was a child. I think whatever happened with their mother was something completely different. I think that they hit that crossroads, they made this choice and they chose the dark. So here she is to see, how dark are you willing to go? Are we going to stay on this path, or do you want to end it here?
Yeah.
And choose this other life?
Although I wonder, and I need to go back again, because, you know, at some point there's, you know, showing her like with that, like, you know, past like actual real historical figures, like the Koch brothers.
Yes.
They're very cleverly done. That little montage was actually so really cool.
It was funny. I was watching an influencer and they called them the Koch brothers.
I've never known how to say their name.
Yeah.
But I've never seen it written. I've never heard it said.
Yeah. But I wonder, now I want to go back and rewatch the first episode to see if when like the father was around, like, do we see any indications of ravens or crows? You know, like
there were.
I'm sure
there might be. I mean, I don't know. I didn't think about it.
But I wasn't thinking about it when I watched those scenes. But for also just a quick blurb, their dad was a cunt, and I'm glad he went out the way he did.
Yep.
Choked to death by his mud.
Kudos to her for that.
Yeah, that was an awesome death. I love that.
He deserved it.
So Cassie says, doesn't she also thank those who say no to her? So self-conscious inner peace resolution, like Pym, right? Or Prim.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
She had a lot of respect for Pym, I think.
Yeah, no, she respected it. She admired it.
See, Cassie.
Okay. Oh, so we should ask this. So what did you think of Mark Hamill in this?
I loved him.
I thought great. I think he's my second favorite character, I think.
He was so
my
good.
number one.
I was like, when I first saw him, when I first saw him, I was like, oh shit, that's Mark Hamill. And then as it went on, I was like, is that really Mark Hamill? Because he so became Arthur Pym that I started to think maybe I imagined that it was Mark Hamill, and maybe it was another actor who kind of looked like Mark Hamill, because I was like, Mark Hamill, really?
His voice acting is so good. Did I tell you I met him one time?
No, tell
nice.
us.
I actually met him at his house.
You're kidding. You got to go to his house?
Orgy?
And what's his house like?
No, right. What orgy is this?
I mean, fine. So a friend of mine, I lived in LA for a long time, and one of my good friends dated his son briefly.
What?
My friend dated his son, and he had a party at his dad's house.
No way.
Mm-hmm. And it was very like, I mean, it was in Malibu, so it was a nice house, but it was not ostentatious. Like, it was,
yeah, that's what I was gonna say. He doesn't seem like the type of person who would be ostentatious. He's been married to the same woman, I think, since
Oh yeah. I mean, yeah, like married, like he's married to his son's mother.
Yeah, and what I thought was interesting, I know he plays the Joker in the animated series, the Joker.
In the animated Batman, yep.
So he's obviously a very good voice actor, but he was completely unrecognizable, except for you could tell it's Mark Hamill. But like you said, I kind of fell into it. I forgot who he was.
Yeah, his voice is just if you're not paying attention, or like if you don't know, and although like more and more he is like very like more beardy, the hat kind of throws you off.
Yeah. Anyway, and it was really interesting when he had that sort of conversation with I keep saying Verna with it was Verna, when he sat down and had that conversation with her, and he was like, I don't have anybody. I have nothing really to,
So you have no leverage.
No leverage. There's no leverage there. And so he goes to prison for that, but he gets to keep his soul, I guess, or I don't know how you describe it, but she couldn't use anything against him. And I thought about that too. I thought, what if you were having a conversation with her and she was it's kind of hard, right? Like, especially like if you're young and you have the whole world ahead of you, I could see maybe there would be some influence there, but when you get older, you're kind of like, no.
Yeah, but at the same time, like, I could see with Madeline, like, okay, your bloodline dies with you, and Madeline's like, well, fuck it, I'll just get an IUD and not have kids. But Roderick had children already, and I can't imagine agreeing, like, in exchange for success and wealth, that I watch my children die, no matter what age.
But I think, I've thought about this a lot, and I think he was just already seduced by the idea of the power that he had between, like, like the court case and like just, now, killing his boss and like, and taking over that company. Like, I think he was just like seduced, and like
he was like, fuck those kids.
Yeah, pretty much.
Yeah,
which is why he had no problem, as his sister said, sticking his dick in anything. He made the 8 probably about 5 times. There's probably kids that at least they'll
have a good life before they go, I guess.
It'd be interesting to find out if, like, say there was a mom who had a child with him but didn't come forward with the child, because obviously these are the children that he knows about.
I thought about that.
See, that's what I think too.
Yeah,
because as active as we know he was, I find it very hard to believe that those are the only bastards he had.
Yeah.
Right.
So like just somewhere else, like some kids just like went
just
insane,
randomly dropped dead for no reason. Yeah.
But assuming that they weren't under his wing,
they weren't part of his legacy.
Right, but she said his bloodline, not his legacy.
She said the bloodline, though. Yeah.
Fair enough.
Mm-hmm. Well, that's why I was so sad about Lenore.
Also, there is one thing in that conversation with Verna that Pym was having. That's not like this situation here isn't the first time that he set eyes on her. She brings it back up, that trip that he doesn't like to talk about. That's the first time he saw her.
I want to know.
And that's probably why he doesn't want to talk about that ever, because he's seen her doing some shit.
Yeah. I wanted to know way more about that.
Mm-hmm.
You know, even when they were talking, I thought she was going to give like more indication, but instead she was just like, oh, you know, you spend all your money on these explorations. When it also it kind of made me think about, although it probably is a coincidence timing wise, but you know, the submarine and the billionaires that,
Yeah.
you know,
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah, because Mike would have written this probably a few years ago, but it does seem like there are some things like the AI, for instance, and then also that
AI has been
that's been for a while, for sure.
That's been happening for a
With
while.
the submarine thing.
I'm surprised there wasn't more cryptocurrency in this.
Yeah.
Yeah, it seemed like Leo would have been, or not Leo, I'm sorry, Perry would have been like selling crypto.
Perry would have been all over that.
Wasn't trying to start a bar.
Yeah. By the way, so of the houses, which house did you like the most? I kind of like the house with the bowling alley and the kitchen. I think that was a kitchen.
I thought that was so absurd.
I was like, that's kind of interesting, having a bowling alley. And then you know, Frederick goes off like while his wife is upstairs. You know, she's like, and he's like just playing he's just doing some bowling while she's up there.
While he's getting high.
Yeah.
It seems like one of those things that was like a concession. Where it's like, fine, you can have a bowling alley, fine, just one lane.
Yeah, his wife seemed very reasonable. I mean, that's why I don't know this whole thing with his, I guess it would be her brother-in-law, Prospero.
I think that's why he targeted her. Not only is she connected to the sibling that he wants to get at, but she genuinely seemed like a decent person.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, but we also
and he wanted to corrupt that.
But she's also like, not saying like models are bad people. She's a former model and like actress, and like, let's be real, she wasn't into Frederick.
How did she get him? Right? How did he get
that? She wasn't into him
that?
because he was so cute. You know what I mean? Like, she's this like low level model actress. Like, she meets this billionaire or whatever. Like, of course she's gonna go where the opportunity is.
Well, and he was probably, you know, maybe in his youth he might have been more attractive, perhaps.
He struck me as being a dork the whole time.
He was a dork. I agree.
Yeah,
You're right.
He's just this dork, and like,
you know what?
And again, he knows. And it goes back to like the way you were talking about the way he speaks, like this insecurity. He knows he couldn't have gotten a wife like Morella if he wasn't rich. He wouldn't have had the job he had if his dad wasn't Usher.
But when they go back to him as a child, he seems like a really sweet child. So
most children are sweet.
So I know that's true, but when they're that small, feels like the money.
And he was sickly.
Yeah. Yes, and he was sickly.
Yeah, that's right. He was a little
that.
sickly. Yeah.
So and they didn't have money for his medication.
And he was probably like extra babied coming up. So that also leads into how the type of person that we saw him as an adult.
Annabelle Lee's ghost though says that after they started spending time with Roderick, each time they came back, there was less and less.
There were less of them.
So he may have started off sweet, but over time he was corrupted by the money, and he took them young. I mean, if he took them young enough for it to drive her to kill herself, it means it didn't take that long before he took them. It didn't take that long,
yeah.
What did you think of Tamberlane? You know, we were talking about some of the.
Which one was that?
Like the one with the cuckold fantasy.
Camille sort of like, you know, having her employees sort of
service her,
satisfy her sexually. But what did you think of Tamberlane?
It took a sec for me to figure out what was going on with her.
That was so weird.
That was
so trippy.
It kind of, for me, it felt like she has to be in a position of power all the time. This is her one opportunity to not be in power. It kind of reminded me of being like,
but she was even in power then.
We're just talking
even then, because she was giving the instructions.
Yeah, we're talking about you're right. You're right. She's still
lick her butt while she's reading a book.
Oh my god! Yeah, we're talking now about Tamberlane, which by the way,
it'd be really weird if somebody just came in right before that.
Tamberlane, all the names are so weird in this show. And Napoleon, Tamberlane.
Well, the names all come from Poe related.
They're all Poe related.
Yeah, they're all
Yeah.
characters from his stories, I believe.
Okay, so Tamberlane.
Yeah, it didn't completely click until like one of those last arguments where he's saying like, yo, I hate when you do this nonsense. Like, I wasn't with some other chick that's perpetrating as you. I was with you. We went on the walk together. That was you with me at the store. And that's kind of when it really starts clicking, like, okay. Because the very first time it happened, I was so confused. I did not understand what was going on and why she looked like she was about
it was
to
happening.
be in the chair.
That's my husband and I
didn't catch it. It took me a minute to completely catch on.
No, I kind of got what was going on, because I was like, she's like a powerful CEO and she's just, she has these. But I kind of like, I mean, her husband was such a sweetheart. Like, he, in my opinion, he seemed like kind of a sweetheart.
He was like a himbo.
Yeah,
Totally a himbo.
And but Rebecca, so what's that background on you? I have to ask what that is. Is that a show you're working on? What is that? The Crows have.
Is that from
The Crows have three?
What is that? The Crows have eyes
from,
three.
Schitt's Creek.
Schitt's Creek? Yeah.
Oh, is it Schitt's Creek?
Yeah,
Okay.
and that's Dr. Clara Mandrake. I didn't have time to get feathers.
Oh, I had feathers I could have lent you. It's like wristlets and then a shawl that would have been perfect.
Yes.
You know the ones I'm talking about, AK.
You know I do.
What? Sorry.
I used that in a trivia session once. That was a fun one.
Used what in a trivia session?
Your four-eyed raven picture.
Oh, really?
Did you forget that conversation?
Yeah.
Go back and look at Twitter. I literally asked, hey, can you send me that picture so I can use your costume thing as a, like, know your YouTubers category, I think it was.
That's so funny. I forgot all about that.
So back to, like, Tamerlane.
Yes, Tamerlane,
I thought her possession was, to me, was like the biggest, like, mind.
The wildest.
Yes.
Yeah. And when that mirror broke, I was like, oh, that's gonna no.
As soon as she said, this is your last chance to just be still. And one more thing happened, and she jumped and hit the mirror on the ceiling. First of all, you have a mirror on your ceiling, ma'am. And I know why. I just want to put that out there. But yeah, as soon as I saw that jump, I said, oh, yep, there it is. That's where it's going to happen. And yeah, that huge shard just went smack onto her neck.
By the way,
that was all she wrote.
I just love her green dress. I loved it so much. And then I was just, I don't have the picture here. I think what happened is I've run out of space, but I uploaded a picture of her in the green dress in the bedroom when she's smashing the mirrors, and they flooded the whole scene with green. And it was just cool. So cool.
Nice.
And that actress, she's been in all of the Mike Flanagan shows as well.
Oh, that's cool.
She is so good. And it's funny because just recently I watched the morning show. She just plays a very minor character in the latest season of the morning show. And it's so funny. Like, she's completely different. There's something about her delivery in all of the Mike Flanagan shows. Whereas when she's on the morning show, she just is very like, I don't know. She doesn't she has very good diction. Is that sort of how I would describe it? Her delivery is very sharp.
Well, I mean, is she like a newscaster is she like a
no, this is what's interesting. On the morning show, she plays like Reese Witherspoon's brother's wife, who he marries her and they have a baby together. Or you don't know if you're watching it.
I've never seen it.
Oh, okay. So she's just sort of like a side character, whereas in all of Mike Flanagan's characters, she's usually a slightly sinister character. I would say she's pretty much always been a sinister character. So in this one, she's equally, she's as sinister or not sinister as the sibling. They're pretty much equally, I guess flawed. But she's just like completely, obviously completely fucked up. she's got some issues. Here. Yeah. So, and I mean, because I really think her husband really did care for her. He loves her, and I
think that was very clear.
Yeah,
but I think the fact that she's not sleeping And I kind of understand that, because when you get to a certain age, especially if you're under a lot of stress, you don't sleep. You get insomnia.
You don't.
You don't.
And then you sleep, but you don't know you're sleeping, which is very clever how they did that for her.
Yeah. I've had that where I'm like, I'm like doing something, and then all of a sudden, like, I wake up like, oh my God, and I've fallen asleep for like a minute. And so that was so crazy, all of that. Like, she's standing there making tea, and then suddenly she falls asleep for a second, and then she wakes up again. But she's also trying to editing
that speech.
Yeah, but she's also trying to stay awake too. And her husband's like, for the love of God, would you just sleep? Like, there's Alicia, I don't know if you're watching The Changeling, but in The Changeling, there's this one character, she hasn't slept at all. And so they drug her. They say, you haven't slept for days, so we've drugged you. So even when she's trying to take like melatonin and do I don't know what she's taking edibles, she still can't sleep. So there is, I feel like, a little bit of it's not just her. I think there is some kind of supernatural thing happening with her not sleeping.
Yeah, because if you're taking edibles and you can't fall asleep,
I can't exactly
someone
remember.
Definitely has it in for you.
But also like when lack of sleep leads to psychosis. Like
yes,
so like it's like a good question is like chicken or the egg, like is it the psychosis that's leading, or like is the lack of sleep, or and Vera's just
it's a circle
pushing it along. But no, like I know when I've gone through periods of like not having really bad insomnia, like
it totally messes with you. And so like, for instance, I've because it's illegal in Canada, if I have to, I just take an edible, like, and then that'll like, but I think there is definitely some supernatural happening there. So the scene when she walks out onto the stage and she thinks she sees Verna speaking, but it's really just the woman introducing her, that's sort of the start of her just like completely
she disassociates herself from a lot of those scenes. And she's doing it from the very beginning. We just don't know that for sure until it gets close to her death.
Right.
Mm-hmm. Tanya, we're just talking about Tamberlane and the fact that she has insomnia and she hasn't been sleeping. So she's sort of having these like a psychosis happening. But at the same time, perhaps some of it is supernatural. Like, what are your thoughts on that?
So
her green dress is really great.
It was a great dress. So I'm a chronic insomniac, and I have had insomnia to the point of blackouts.
Wow.
And like fainting and like hallucination. And it really, really fucks with you. And so I think with Verna, I think that some of it was definitely because I really feel like Verna doesn't just create the chaos. Like, she takes the seeds that are already there and just kind of like
and
waters
it
them
up a bit.
She waters them. And so I feel like Tamerlane was already going a little bit crazy from the lack of sleep. Like, you see where she falls asleep and bumps her head on the mirror because she doesn't realize she's asleep standing.
Yeah.
Or like when she puts the teapot on, or the coffee pot on the stove, and then suddenly it's on the counter.
And then like makes the tea. Yeah.
Right. But then her mug is empty and there was never any tea in it. Like those like mini blackouts, like that's, a thing that can happen to you.
That's got to be super scary too.
Yeah. To be one place and then you're another place and you can't connect it. And I think that was already in play, and Verna just worked with that. So Verna's planting herself in the background of the workout videos and adding this paranoia to it, and feeding off of what's already there. So she's already been doing this whole cuckold fantasy thing.
Yeah.
Adding into it whatever jealousy she has, because maybe she has insecurities too about having a himbo husband, and then,
that's interesting that you're saying cuckold, because normally it's sort of a role reversal. Usually it's a man watching his
I don't know if there's another word for it.
Yeah, I mean, like, because cuckold also has like a humiliation aspect to it. Don't everybody know that? But I mean, it's more she's like hot wifing her husband, or hot husband is that's a but
my gosh.
Yeah. We don't need to go.
I didn't personally think it was that crazy of a fetish. I was just like, okay.
I thought it was crazy because it was like she's watching her like ask about his day and like
the
who made
domestic
dinner.
Yeah, and that's what was getting her
like,
off.
Yeah, she's like rubbing one out to him, telling her about his day.
Like what type of issue are you in where this regular conversation is what does it for you?
He's like,
did you notice though?
Like, you can't have on your own.
Yeah, but did you notice when Verna came in? She's claimed that the other girl was sick, so she came in. Did you notice how he responded to her? He actually seemed to really respond to her.
When she asked about
it and got comfortable.
Yeah, he probably doesn't get to have those conversations.
Yeah, she asked him about himself. She asked him about how how are you? And it was almost like that was like a longing he'd had. I'm like, oh, I wish my wife would want to know about me.
Yeah.
And
I feel like it's also kind of stable for both of those two. In particular, I call them the originals because they were like the only I guess full-blooded ushers.
Full-blooded siblings.
But both of them, I think, have spouses that they probably would not have had in other circumstances. Like if they weren't ushers, neither one of them would have gotten those two in their lives.
Mm-hmm. Oh no, I think you're totally right.
Although, I think maybe less so with Tamerlan. Maybe it's yes, circumstances brought them together because he's a fitness guy. She's trying to start her own goop.
Speaking, we were talking earlier about social commentary. That was sort of like a goop company.
Well, I mean, and
she named her Scoop.
Yeah, and the whole health and wellness industry is,
and those subscription boxes, that's a whole thing.
Yeah.
I have to say though, legitimately, when she was doing her presentation about it, I was like, oh my God, I would never in a million years be interested in any of that stuff. I was just like, even if I had some money, I'd be like, nope. She was selling it to me. It just sounded like nonsense.
Yeah. But, I'd be fascinated to see what would come in a box.
Yeah. No, that is kind of interesting.
Yeah.
Hey,
but
Justin.
Also it's just it's all bullshit.
Mm-hmm. It is all bullshit. And I think that's sort of what maybe again they were sort of alluding to vagina candles or did anyone ever get the vagina candle, by the way? I did want to know what my vagina smells like candle.
I feel like I can just kind of fold myself in half and figure it out on my own.
I don't think anyone needs a candle for that.
I'd light it.
My personal opinions.
Also,
talk about marketing.
I'm not surprised, Tanya.
All of this is marketing.
PSA for anyone listening: do not put a fucking crystal in your hoo-ha. Please don't do it. It's not good.
Hey, Justin.
There are vaginal eggs you can get though if you want to strengthen your.
Yoni eggs.
You can get eggs.
But when
you could just Kegel though.
Yeah, just learn how to do a fucking Kegel.
Yeah, just do your stretches. You'll be fine.
I'm doing them right now.
You can do them while you're
now that's in our brain. Thanks, Tanya.
That's all you need to do. I had a boyfriend years ago who
I was half the women on this subway train are doing a fucking Kegel right now. So.
Totally. I had a boyfriend years ago who was really into this whole new age kind of sexual thing. And he would do the you don't orgasm, you have to hold your orgasm. And then,
tantric. No, it's called tantric sex.
Yeah. All into that.
That I would actually say there's something to it, but then there are guys who are I won't actually ejaculate because my semen is this powerful thing. It's
that's what, it's sort of Justin. I'm wearing a crow on actually it's it's a little crow. It's a mini raven. Now are crows smaller? Crows are smaller than ravens, right?
Yes, most varieties. Yes.
anyways, Justin's really nice to see you, by the way. I can't remember the last time Justin's dropped into one of my streams. It's really nice to have you here.
When are you doing another 24-hour stream?
We should do one. Well, last time we did one
was wild.
It was the last time we did one. It was Easter.
I don't think I made it through the whole thing.
Oh, you know what? We should do one. We'll do one at Easter. That's what I did. I think I did it on a long weekend because it's like
what day is Easter on?
The kids are off school like Friday, I think, because they usually get the Good Friday, and then there's Easter Monday. So I think I did it on a long weekend. So Justin, let me know if you were up to that.
I'll drop in while drinking tea in my Easter dress. I go all out.
Oh
yeah, it's high tea time when Easter comes around.
Justin said it took a few years off of his life. Yeah, I could see that.
Hey, okay.
Oh, there you are, Alicia. Hi. Hello, my girl. This is so much fun, by the way. I just want to say, love the three of you.
It's always a pleasure coming to hang out on Costume.
It's so fun. And I'm having a few cocktails too, so I'm having a really fun time with you guys.
I'm taking it easy.
I am having rum.
I was drinking bourbon out of my skeleton wine glass.
I saw the skeleton.
Oh my God.
That looks awesome.
Wow, that's awesome.
But because it's a wine glass, I forgot I was drinking bourbon, and I took this big sip and had to mute myself.
So, hold on.
You got to take the filter off real quick.
I'm trying. Hold on. I don't have my glasses on, so.
Justin, check out my set. I decorated it.
Dude, I swear that's a hat straight off the set of Nanny McPhee.
Oh my God, that's amazing.
I love it.
So where'd you get that from, Rebecca?
I made it.
You made that?
That looks awesome.
So what's on it? Is it like got organs on it?
No.
It looks like a whole
organs on it. Thing.
It's a bunch of.
You mean orchids?
I put
Did you mean to say orchids?
No, organs. It looked like an organ.
Oh no!
It looked like a heart or something, or maybe a liver.
In tulips and.
Okay, sorry. No, the one red thing. It's a bird, maybe.
It's a cardinal.
Yeah, in a nest.
Sorry, I thought it looked like a liver.
I was like, organs?
Oh my God!
Yeah, I thought I missed it.
So
it was so funny. Justin will know this. I interviewed Anne Crabtree. She's a costume designer who did the show The Shining, and I was saying horror, and she thought I said Thor. Like Thor, like as in Thor's hammer. I said no, Anne.
That's
horror.
not what I heard.
Yeah, no, I said horror. I said because I was saying, I don't know if anyone in the chat has watched it, but I said it's marketed as a horror show. But I think it's more fantasy. And she thought I said Thor. And she said, oh, yeah, Heidi, it is like Thor. So I thought that. Anyway.
I thought you said whore, not horror.
That's I was hearing horror the whole time.
I thought you were saying like whore, like where do whores go?
It's a bird.
Yeah. Yep.
It's a plane. It's a liver. Well, I guess I was just thinking it might have been a liver because of Halloween. And I've had a couple of cocktails. But it's a very, very beautiful hat. So if we do an Easter,
Easter is March 31st this year.
Okay, so if we do an Easter, my hat keeps falling off. If we do an
year?
Easter stream, we should wear Easter bonnets. I'll make everyone. And then, are you going to do tarot readings then? We could do tarot readings.
I will do tarot readings
later in the evening.
Oh, hey, Bex, we were supposed to do a thing.
Oh, right, we were. All right, let's talk tomorrow.
Yep.
7 time.
Natural, you still there? She said I would never want any of Gwyneth's stuff. You don't want her.
Yeah, I'm good on that.
You don't want her vagina candle, smelling candle. You don't want that. Come on.
I was about to say something really crass. Never mind.
Yeah, Justin said he left that in the interview. Thanks, Justin. Okay, so who have we got left to talk about? Who is left to talk about?
Put the family pick back up.
Okay, let me put it back up. Alicia, just tell me what to do from now on because I'm kind of lost.
Let's see. I think we got
Are they eating tiramisu?
It looks like it, doesn't it?
Oh, I love tiramisu.
Me too.
That is my second favorite dessert.
Here's the other one here.
Yes, this one.
Okay.
I think we actually got everyone. We could probably go in a little deeper with
what about Lenore?
Roderick and Madeline.
Lenore.
Oh yeah. Let's not leave out sweet Lenore. And I think that he described her perfectly.
Sorry,
she has his fire and his her grandmother's good heart and moral compass.
Can we talk about Madeline's tall wig with the bangs?
Oh
yeah. I think we had that picture up for a bit, didn't we?
Here, let me get it.
What was that about? Why did she have a clip-on tall wig with bangs?
Did you hear me earlier, Tanya, when I was saying I thought she kind of looked like Gloria Steinem?
Yeah, you did.
But I don't know. But yeah, she has this clip-on. Like her hair is really weird, right?
There's something.
Yeah,
she's reminding me of somebody, and I can't put my
Rainey's.
Who?
Rainey's tall wigs.
Rainy.
No.
That's what she reminded me of.
She's from Dances with Wolves, that actress. You know Dances with Wolves?
Yeah, but I haven't seen that since,
Here, I'll show you her picture here.
I haven't seen Dances with
is it here?
Wolves in many a moon.
Mary McDonald? No, that's not her. No, that's her. Mary McDonald. That's a really old picture of her, by the way.
That's her.
I was gonna say,
that's Madeline.
Mary McDonald. She is
Did they use
female.
What decade is that picture
Dances
from?
with Wolves.
Right. And how much did she pay to have that be the thumbnail that's found of her on there?
On her IMDb, it's I'm looking at her IMDb right now, and it's much more recent.
Well, to be fair, this graphic, which I have borrowed, is from Mike Flanagan's source on Twitter. So they put it together. Like Annabelle Gish, she plays the mom. Ruth Codd, who plays Juno, so great. She's fabulous. I love, by the way, Santha Sloan. When I look at pictures of her, I love it because she just is very natural. Really like no makeup and everything. I had it, by the way, when
wearing a lot of makeup that gives her like the no makeup.
It's true, but she's got like she's kind of like she's a little bit freckly, I think, and what's going on here? The actress also is in 2003 Battlestar Galactica.
Oh, that's right. I think I remember seeing her.
You're right. She was. She plays like the general or something. She plays a major role in that. Yeah, that was because obviously she's done.
Oh, she was in Donnie Darko. She was the mom in Donnie.
Oh, the mom in Donnie.
Oh,
yeah,
wow.
She's been in a lot of stuff. She's one of those veteran actors. She's so good in this. She's so. Steely.
Oh yeah. Ooh, she was in Grand Canyon. Sorry.
Yeah. So it's sort of weird. Like, it's funny because when I go online sometimes and I watch these TikTokers and they've got they put in hair, even speaking of the morning show earlier, there's a scene where Jennifer Aniston is in a makeup chair and they're putting in not like a wig like you're wearing, Bex, but just like a line of hair to add in volume. Yeah. So her just having these really weird fake bangs was so strange. Why not wear a wig?
It wasn't just the bangs. It was the bangs and the top portion all together.
Yeah, a bump.
It was like she pulled, the bump, and it's it looked like I thought she was taking off an entire wig, and she pulls off this wig piece, but then it's her all that hair underneath, and I was just why did you add?
Why would you do that?
Just on top.
I feel
with bangs.
So I feel I saw something but it was in a comedy where she a woman took off a wig and she also had really long hair under the wig.
Yeah.
It was it's exactly like you're describing, but it was really funny. But even I know there was a scene in Grace and Frankie Jane Fonda starts taking off her hair pieces and her eyelashes and
it's very humbling
when you
get home at the end of the night and wipe off your eyebrows.
When some things start happening in life, you start
yeah There's this really great scene. I don't know if you guys have seen Young Adult. There's a scene with Charlize Theron where she's just like at rock bottom, and she just, you think of Charlize Theron as being stunning, and then she just like is taking off her clothes, and she's got these weird like silicone, like I don't know if you guys have ever used those silicone cutlets. They're kind of stuck to her, and she's peeling them off, and it's just like that. I think it's just sort of her like, but it looks still like she still is wearing some kind of wig there. Like she peels off, like she's peeling off the layers a little bit.
It reminds me of
strange character.
I'm Gonna Get You, Sucker.
Wait, which part? I haven't seen that.
Where the super hot lady in like this latex outfit, and she brings him back to her room, and she's like, I have a secret. My eyes aren't really green. And she takes out her contacts, and he's like, ooh. And then she's like, she keeps going. And then it's like, and this isn't really my hair. And she takes off a wig and has like a single curl on top of her head with a bow on it. And then she's like, and this is these tits. And then she takes off the silicone, like, attached thing. And then she's like, and this ass. And then next thing you know, she's taking that off. And then you realize it's like she only, like, that's not her leg either. And then she takes off like her prosthetic leg, and like it just keeps escalating.
Oh, there's an episode of The Fresh Prince of Bel-Air that reminds me of that. Actually, I think Tachina Arnold was in that one, right? Yeah, when he's in the basement, and yeah, she like just rips off all her nails as like a can opener.
Girl getting on my nerves.
Girl getting on my nerves.
She was
going out of my mind. I thought she was fine. Don't know if her body is hers.
Oh my God, you guys!
That is probably my favorite episode of Fresh Prince.
Yeah, the can opener. He couldn't get the can opener, and he's like, "Well, you have those long nails." And she's like, "Here," and starts popping them all off. Here.
Oh man, sorry, we're nostalgic.
I'm gonna head out soon because it's
no. I think we're nearly done. I think we're like, you guys, like, is there anything else you wanted to add before we finish up? I think we've pretty much done everybody and all the characters and.
What did you guys think of like the full wrap up? Like how the whole story came full circle, including someone possibly coming back from the dead for one last specific task. To be the end of the bloodline.
Yes, the call back to their mother. I really love that. She was a little bit too like ghosty. She's like, oh
yeah, with the stones in her eyes, which I think I feel like
it should have killed her.
He knew something like that was going to happen because he very specifically used the old Egyptian culture in doing that. He had this very specific dagger. The thing where they pull the brains out through the nose. Yeah, those were all. Yeah, I think he had a small fascination with ancient Egypt.
I think he also knew that since he was still alive, that she was too.
That's right. That's right. Because that was part of the deal.
Yeah, she said you have to go out together, right?
Yeah, you came into the world together. You will go out together.
Eileen. I agree. And what did you think about at the very end? The house literally falls.
The literal fall of the House of Usher.
You know what I kept thinking? I was like, where did August park?
Yeah, hopefully he didn't park on the street. Hopefully
he gets outside, there are no cars.
Like a cul-de-sac or something.
Yeah, and there's no cars. Yeah. I just kept thinking, where did he park?
There is one thing. So I forget how to.
There's August here.
Hold on. I want to.
Also,
by the way, August, the actor who plays August is also in Dr. Sleep. Yeah,
that is also our Black Captain America from Falcon and the Winter Soldier.
Yep.
I knew I had seen him before.
Yep.
Yeah,
that is Elijah.
I need to
forget what his last name is.
I've got like a couple of I don't know what's going on.
Series on who, Tanya?
On the Black Captain America.
Black Captain America, yeah.
They made it a whole thing, and I'm like, hold on, I kind of want. I need to know more about this. Like this,
it's going to be a thing that comes back too, because Eli, they didn't show it in the show, but Eli has that same power genetically, so he's going to be a young Avenger eventually. He's a Patriot, I believe, is his code name.
By the way, Tanya, hopefully Peacemaker will be out again, and you and I can get together.
I
and
love
chat about it.
Peacemaker. That was
I can't wait.
such a
I
good
love
show.
Peacemaker.
Love Peacemaker.
So great.
I really hope it comes back because
Me too.
John Cena really is surprisingly great at comedy.
Have loved John Cena.
I love
so
him,
long.
man.
He's so good. So
Ever since he was a wrestler,
So,
he's been great.
I am looking there. A good thumbnail or a good Easter egg, actually, but it's not letting me share the screen. Like at some point, like you see Verna's like driver's license.
Okay.
And the address is 1849 Reynolds Street, and 1849 is when Edgar Allan Poe died.
Oh.
You're like
Interesting.
There are a lot of like little
Here's
Easter
my
eggs.
photo.
Yeah, there's cool little breadcrumbs
Oh,
tossed in
my
the whole thing.
Good.
He's kind of cute, huh?
He is cute.
Yeah. I
I
like
have to say,
they're very intelligent, apparently.
oh,
They're very
Crows
intelligent.
and ravens, especially.
Crows and ravens are crazy smart.
They are scary smart. Like they literally be out here training humans.
I really like.
I wanna befriend
I'm
some.
definitely leave stuff on my balcony. Hopefully, like trying to attract the crows. But
Do you know what a flock of them is called?
murder.
A murder.
Murder.
What's a flock of ravens? Because it's not a murder of ravens.
No, it's a flock of
raisins?
crows.
I know it's a flock of
It's a
seagulls
murder.
because I know the band.
It's a
From the
disagreement
80s.
of ravens.
Iran.
I don't know.
A disagreement of
No, I'm
ravens.
just- I don't know.
No, but what is called? Like there is something called a disagreement.
Is there
An unkindness of
an
ravens.
unkindness?
Really?
Unkindness
I
of
wasn't
because
too
ravens
far
are
off.
freaking scary. Like, don't they go hunting with wolves?
I don't know.
I'm pretty
Oh,
sure.
I
that
just
there-
I just
there-
know that I want
there's-
them on my side.
Yeah.
Oh,
totally.
yeah.
I'm pretty
No,
sure,
like,
like when
we
they're
can
going
friends
in the
with ravens.
wild, they will find the food and then signal to the wolves where to go.
That's what's up.
I definitely, my TikTok algorithm definitely is very pro crow and raven. I get a lot of
crows are
weird,
liars.
I get a lot of like weird animal feeds. There was like one
Is it?
recently, like it was like mating season for elk and like around like Yellowstone National Park, and like there was this one lady who was like, there was this one herd of elk in her town, and this one elk they called Titan or Romeo, one of the two, and he was just like constantly like looking for his mate. It was just the whole town would stop because there's this giant fucking elk like walking around.
Have y'all ever seen an elk like with your own eyes? I mean in the wild, not like in a case or in a cage at the zoo.
I saw an elk.
Big.
I saw
Yeah.
one in
I
Banff. They
I
just
was-
kind of wander around. They just wander around in Banff, Alberta, Canada,
Oof.
and I've seen them. And then it was funny. It was really cute. Recently, we went to the park in Ontario, and Canada, and there was like a wild turkey, and then there were some other birds, and they were all just kind of hanging out together. It was really cute.
See, they plotting. Nah, I don't trust that.
I was in Vermont a couple weekends ago, and I was really disappointed because like I didn't see a moose, and I was like, then was I like actually in Vermont?
I've never seen a moose in my life, and I live in Canada. I've only seen a beaver in a museum, like in a habitat. I've
I've
never
seen a
seen.
lot of woodchucks.
I don't think I've ever seen
Never
a
seen a
beaver.
woodchuck.
Me either. Raccoons,
Well,
I've seen a bunch of
I-
them, but I stay clear of them. They're crazy.
You have no my cousin got married, and like Vermont, like everything's fucking covered in maple syrup, and it's like I did not see maple syrup covered.
Isn't Vermont known for cheese? Or no, that's
No.
Wisconsin.
I mean, like no,
That's
but,
Wisconsin,
Vermont's
I think.
known for cheddar.
yeah, but
Vermont cheddar, yeah.
yeah, no, like but maple, like you go. I left the airport, like, well, I have like maple taffy, and I got like, I couldn't bring in like bottles of syrup through the, like through security. So I like had to buy it in the airport. But my
just
cousin,
says
like,
it.
their party favor was like a little bottle of maple syrup.
Aw. Well, it was funny. My husband went down to, I don't know where he was, somewhere in the States recently, and they had like a Canadian zone, and they gave out little bottles of maple syrup. And I'm like, oh my God, you went all the way down to the States to get a little tiny bottle of maple syrup. So my brother-in-law has a maple sugar farm though, like shack.
Oh,
like
nice.
So he
That's
just
cool.
a little plot of lands.
I wouldn't like I can't remember if like maybe this was in a dumb movie or it really happened. But smuggling maple across the border is like a big deal, and like
there's a whole cartel up here in Canada. There's a.
I was gonna say, I think that's a thing. I think I've heard.
I
that
might
before,
get in trouble for saying this on like YouTube. I might get like terror attacks or something.
Let's not speak that into fruition. No, don't do that.
No, I got to be careful. And it was funny because I was on my day job. So there's this fellow who I work with, and he was referring to the maple syrup cartel, and we were all like, all of us were quiet. We're all like, no, we don't know what you're talking about, John. There's no cartel. But apparently there is. Canada produces the majority of all maple syrup products in the world. So it's like it's kind of like cigars. You know,
there's all
like
cartels too.
What's that?
Like Cubans,
like Cubans, yeah.
So and Cubans,
it's crazy. But yeah, so my brother-in-law has this tiny little, has this little plot of land, but he just produces enough maple syrup just for family and friends. It's like just very small,
like a hobby farm,
like a hobby. Yeah, exactly.
That's cool.
Yeah. So, is there anything else we want to chat about before? Like Tanya's got to go. She's got a little baby. How old is your older son now, Tanya?
6.
Oh my God. And then the baby is 2 now?
Mm-hmm.
No longer a baby.
Yeah.
That's amazing. Now. Congratulations. My kids are like 3 years apart. It's so nice to have them close like that.
Yeah. It's sweet when they're like loving on each other.
Totally. Okay. So why don't we just go around and everyone can say where you can be found, and then I'll put myself to bed after. But then we will talk about doing a 24-hour live stream. I think that'll be fun. Okay, yeah. So who wants to go first? Alicia, you want to go?
Sure. Coming up, sadly, I'm probably not going to get to do the cool live streams that I had planned out for the rest of spooky season. But what I will be releasing, probably starting tomorrow, are some cool spooky short stories that the writers group I'm in came up with. That's myself and the other half of 1,000 Eyes and One. And Tanya also lent her voice to doing the intro for us. So I'm looking forward to that. I think it's going to be pretty cool. And maybe we'll get the other spooky things done soon. I don't know. I think the next thing on with Tanya and Nikki is going to be Nightmare on Elm Street. We're going to talk about that. And then the day after the official end of spooky season, we're going to talk about Wes Craven's New Nightmare. So we'll wrap up our Nancy Elm Street trilogy that's going down. And besides that, I'll be on with DJ One Wonder Fandom, as always, talking about Gen V and Loki. And then until my channel gets fixed, we'll be on with Manic Meeks and Lady Diligence, talking about Loki on Mondays. So stay tuned for that.
Oh my God, you're so busy. Loki's a great show. Love it. I haven't seen Gen V.
It is.
My husband's watching it.
Did you watch The Boys?
I love The Boys.
It's a spinoff of that.
It then? Do you recommend it?
It's very good.
Okay,
very
I will check it out. Tanya, do you want to tell us where everyone can find you? I know you're super busy as well. You're a busy mom, but you also have lots going on your channel, your podcast.
So we're wrapping up. Yeah, we're wrapping up our spooky season stuff. We did a weekly stream this month. So we did Twilight Zone, Mirror Image. We did Inner Sanctum. It's an old-timey radio show called The Dark Chamber. So we did streams for those. We covered The Craft. And then yesterday we did Beetlejuice. And we also did, for a book club, we did The Monsters We Defy by Leslie Penelope. So we have streams for all of those up as 1,000 Eyes and One podcast. And on Halloween at 9 p.m., we'll be streaming, talking about A Nightmare on Elm Street, because it's my favorite. And maybe one day we'll talk about Bunnicula, because I'm wearing my Bunnicula shirt. Remember Bunnicula?
You're
That's
always
pretty
telling
much
me
awesome.
about Bunnicula. I still have yet to.
I always
actually-
want somebody to talk to me about Bunnicula, and like nobody ever seems to know what I'm talking about except my brother.
Tanya, my friend Patrick, his favorite horror series is Nightmare on Elm Street. So totally loves that.
I love it.
Bex, what about you? What are you up to, my girl? We're going to catch up.
Yeah. So I'm not really doing the streaming stuff that much. I do it whenever Heidi asked me to join. Although I'm sure like once House of Dragons comes out again.
Oh yeah.
I'll be back. I mean right now I've been like actually shockingly busy considering like all the strife that's going on in television right now because I work in unscripted. So I'm trying to usher through like 2 season 1 shows, which I'm very tired. But yeah, I'm not very active anywhere, but you know, Shadowcat Becks is where you can find me on all the socials. And yeah.
I've put everyone's social media in the description. So the Instagrams and the Twitters and the YouTubes and all that. And Rebecca, yes, for sure. Well, all of us. Like, I don't know what's going on with House of the Dragon. Justin, I think if you're still here, he was saying, what's going on? Like, they haven't even released any still images or
yeah, and I don't think we're going to get that much.
Yeah, I mean, well, and I want to look it up. I'm wondering, like,
my hair's really messy. Sorry.
You know, which, like, well, between SAG and the Writers Guild and like, where they were in production anyway.
Yeah,
like everything's messed up, but you know, like SAG should be meeting right now. You know, and if SAG finally like gets their contract down, then everybody goes back to work. So knock on wood that SAG gets
yes, yes.
You know.
And I was just going to tell you, so Justin is here. He's editing my next interview that I did with Anne Crabtree, who is the costume designer of The Changeling, which is on Apple TV right now.
I'm watching that now.
Oh, do you like it?
Yes, I have 2 more episodes.
Okay. Well,
how many seasons are out? Is it just one?
Just one, and it's 8 episodes.
Okay. Yes.
All right.
It's on Apple TV, so I've got an interview coming out with her.
Oh, I saw her at Comic-Con.
Oh, did you really? She was all dressed up. I was talking to her about that. Yeah, she had a stylist who she said did her hair and makeup and outfit and everything.
Yeah, she was like all
She
done
is so nice, by the way. She's so lovely. So I have that coming out. So Justin's working on that. And then I'm doing a live stream tomorrow night. I'm interviewing this guy named William Swift. He has a really big costume collection that he's been amassing for the last, I don't know, it's like over from 20 years of collection. So I'm chatting with him tomorrow night, but he's got like the Hunger Games. He's got like some Harry Potter stuff.
Oh, wow.
Nice.
He's got, what's he got? He's got like, I can't even think now what it is. He's got so much stuff. It's crazy. And he wants to open up a museum like in Minneapolis, to a fantasy costume museum. So I'm interviewing him tomorrow.
That's cool.
And he's super sweet and super nice. So anyway, that's going to be really fun. So we're doing that tomorrow night. And then Ro, who was in the chat earlier, he and I did an interview with Prop Store about their latest collection going up for auction. And one of them was Arya Stark's sword, prop sword, which is so cool.
Yeah, I saw you post about
that.
Yes, so cool. And it's so little. It's like really, really cute and little. So anyway,
Maisie's really little.
Maisie's little. She when she got it, she was probably, how old was she, guys? Like 9?
I think 9.
That was like 9.
Yeah, and so it stayed the same size. So the girl who we did the interview with, Alex, she was quite little as well. So it was just like this tiny little, adorable little sword. So anyway, that's really fun. It's been a really busy October for me, but you know, it's Halloween and I love Halloween. It's awesome. My favorite holiday.
I'm actually going to New Orleans next Monday.
Oh! So jealous of you.
Yeah, I'm doing like a artist retreat thing and for the week of Halloween. So
oh my God, that's gonna be amazing. Yeah. That's one of the places I've been there once. I want to go back, probably with my kids. So I'll take them back. So
we can also go back for an adult trip too.
Oh yeah, for sure. Yeah. Yes.
Although funny enough, like I went a bunch when I was a kid. Like we lived in Dallas for a little bit. My aunt lives in past Christian, Mississippi.
Thank you, Justin.
Like we have a lot of like, so we went down a bunch when I was a kid, and then like nothing for years and years. And I finally went back, and I was like, oh my God, like, yeah. I want to.
Tanya, I was going to tell you, have a Bunnicula fan here. Pilia loves Bunnicula.
It's so great. It's like the cutest story that no one ever.
Is it a bunny that is a vampire?
It's a book. It's a story, and it's from the it is from the perspective of this dog who wrote a book about the bunny that moved into their house, who was a vampire.
Oh my God, I love it. It sounds familiar. I'm like, well, I should know it.
It's so old, but I don't even know what year it came out. It was just like a book that I loved, like when I was a kid, and
so cute.
And then like I had a copy of it, but like I never heard anybody talk about it. And my brother and I loved it. We thought it was such a great story. And I recently checked it out at the library.
I'm kind of obsessed with bunnies right now. Like I've been watching bunny, like, they call them buns, like, about different, like I've been saying to Jack, when my kids are a bit older, I think I'm going to get a couple of bunnies and create a bunny habitat and everything. And also I love the bunny in, what's that movie called? Holy Grail.
Monty Python.
Because they're just the sweetest, most passive characters. That's why it's sort of funny that a bunny would be a vampire.
One of my nieces has bunnies, like multiple bunnies, and like they are hard. Like they're not.
Oh yeah,
they're not easy pets. Like
no, they're not. They're not. They require a lot of care for sure.
But they're not. They don't. I'm surprised like so many people have bunnies as pets because they don't really want to be your friend.
Well, I think it depends on how you bond with them. I think
That's true.
I
guess I'm like just like every time I go over there, like the bunnies are like, no, thank you, and it's like
they're like attack you.
No, they're just like whatever.
Oh, they're indifferent.
They're well.
I'll never forget though. There was years ago I went to a petting zoo, there's a place called Riverdale Farm near where I live, and it's like a little farm, and you go there, and there was this bunny, and it was in like a little not a cage, like it was a good habitat, and you would go there, and the bunny would always like put its butt up against the cage or whatever because it wanted you to like scratch its butt. It was so cute. It would just like purposely like stick his butt up against the edge, like, come in, please pat me there. It was the most adorable thing ever.
That's how like most dogs like greet me. They're like, oh, it's you. Here's my butt. Like
they want their butt scratched. My cat just kind of comes and sleeps like kind of like on top of me. Like she just sort of I'll be like, and she'll just hit my face. Like Bex, do you find that? Like she'll just like sort of hit my face. Pay attention to me, woman. And that's what happens when I'm sleeping.
It's not like that. Buster was much more like that. Like Buster, I mean, he was like, if I was still asleep at 6 o'clock in the morning, he'd be pissed. And like,
it's a taskmaster.
Okay. I have to get this straight because my poor girl Tanya has to go. She's exhausted. But Tanya, I'm going to get you on the 24-hour live.
Tanya needs sleep.
We'll have you at a reasonable time, and then like maybe Bex and I can do the wee hours or something.
Yes, I'll join you at a reasonable time.
Yes.
Hopefully when my husband's home, so I don't have to keep stopping to wrangle children.
Oh no, we love it when the kids, pets, children, dogs, cats, bunnies, always welcome on the live stream here.
Yeah.
So anyway, I just want to say thank you for everybody for coming tonight. We really appreciate it. We all love the House of Usher, the fall of the House of Usher. So if you haven't checked it out, hopefully we didn't spoil it for you. If you haven't seen it, please make sure to check it out. It's on Apple Plus TV.
No, it's on
Sorry, it's on Netflix.
Netflix.
It's on Netflix. Sorry, the other show it did was on Apple Plus. So I would definitely recommend it. I think it's got like a crazy high score on Rotten Tomatoes. Like fans and critics alike love it. So it's probably going to be one of those things that I would revisit every year. Like it's just such a great story. So anyway, so thanks for everybody for joining us. And we'll do this again soon, okay? Yeah.
Thanks for having us.
All right. Thanks for having you guys.
Thanks
for
for
having
inviting
Thank
me.
you.
And I've had like such a nice time hanging out with you guys.
Always a pleasure.
Okay. Bye, everybody.
Bye, everybody.